welcome to Offsite Dirt. My name is Mark Wille, and today we are covering the marketplace. Audrey, who do we have with us today?
Well, as you can see behind us, CertainTeed St. Gobain is an enormous company. We have John Hardy and we have Brent Belanger. Brent, why don't you start first? Give us a little bit of your background and then we'll pass it over to John. We'd love to hear your story and why you chose to work with this company.
Yeah, by all means. Thank you very much for the introduction, Audrey. I'm Brent Belanger. I'm the Senior Architectural Technical Solutions Manager with CertainTeed Canada. I've been in the industry for 35 years working for various manufacturers. My role currently with CertainTeed entails overseeing our offsite efforts here in Canada. And I certainly work closely with our R&D people and John Hardy out of the US and his team as well. So very excited to be here today. Thank you.
Great. Yeah, hi Audrey and Mark. John Harding with Saint-Gobain, CertainTeed in Northborough, Massachusetts. That's one of the, I think, 7 or 8 global R&D facilities worldwide for Saint-Gobain. And I've been with the organization roughly 3.5 years, but 15 plus years in the construction industry and in various capacities. My role is Business Development Program Manager for Offsite. What the heck does that entail, right? So a lot of it is building relationships and making sure folks in the industry are aware of the solutions that we bring to market and working closely with the R&D team. Once we do identify some challenges and pain points, you know, how do we go about trying to develop solutions for them?
Thank you so much, John. So I'll start with the first question over to you, Brent. Your company has been a leader globally and in the North American market for years. Can you speak to the strengths on both the sustainability and the circular economy and how you bring this to our marketplace here?
Yeah, I think a lot of it, Mark, comes down to our history. CertainTeed is part of Saint-Gobain. It's a company that's been around for over 350 years, and there aren't many companies in the world that do that. So I think it shows our resilience. We've been able to go through a lot of different types of events in the world, revolutions, technology changes, etc., and still be here. And to speak to sustainability, well, Mark, I mean, that's really top of mind with everybody in the world, not just our industry. And I think our ability to adapt to changes throughout history and the way we embrace sustainability, our goal of being net zero 2050, carbon neutral 2050 rather, is part of that.
John, you know, it's funny, we got to meet at the Advancing Prefabrication, and I know that we are kind of talking about this circular economy, but what does that really mean, and what does it mean for your company?
Sure, that's a great question. I mean, there's overall commitment from the top of the organization on down, and in some cases, it's based on individuals' performance, how they're going to be viewed within the organization. Are we going in the right direction in terms of achieving net zero carbon footprint? So we look at new products or new projects. That's got to be baked into our stage gate process so that we understand what's the implication of that product from a carbon footprint standpoint. I mean, it gets down to that level. So it's part of our DNA, I think. And I think the one aspect I like to always bring up is our gypsum factory in Buchanan, New York. There's been some press about that, maybe the end of the year. But you know, those are the types of things where we're trying to have a circular economy approach to things, working with partners, and this is pretty widespread throughout the organization in various pockets.
Yeah,
wonderful.
If I can just,
Please, Brent.
I'm very sorry, Mark. If I can just add, John mentioned the plant in Buchanan. We announced last year in Montreal, our gypsum wallboard facility there is going to be carbon neutral. It's being retrofitted right now. And the beauty of that is it's carbon neutral, but it's also going to be 40% more efficient as well. We're reducing our energy costs by 30%. So once again, a testament to our concerted efforts to be as sustainable as possible.
It's so commendable, and what it does is it allows the other folks in the marketplace to see where you set that bar and clean up their ships along the way. Because once that example is set, it's inspirational. I'm very familiar with your products, and you guys continue to offer tried and true solutions. Would you like to speak about a product or two that the marketplace enjoys the use of?
You're talking to me, Mark, I assume?
Yes, Brent, sorry.
Well, we have a lot of different products. We manufacture gypsum, roofing, siding, ceilings. It goes on. So, and insulation, of course. I think all of them are, if we're talking about sustainability, all are very attractive for our users. We have high recycled content, low emissivity of VOCs, for instance. I think in terms of one that's become very helpful lately is our NOCO Pro finishing machine. It's an automated machine to install drywall corners. The beauty of it is that it reduces waste, so it's a very sustainable product. It requires less finishing compound to apply, once again, being resourceful. And it addresses the labor shortage, which is a major challenge here in all over North America. We have a product here that allows installers to take less time to install their products. So it helps speed up the whole process for the construction of the building.
Beautiful. I love all the things that you're telling us, and I love that sustainability is one of your markers in the company. I think that we're all progressing and moving into that. John, seeing that I saw you at Offsite event or advancing prefabrication, where are you seeing your products in the Offsite solution area and innovation? How are you seeing things progress for your company? Is that a segment that you're seeing continued growth, or do you feel like that is going to be a marker for, for future growth?
Sure, Audrey. It's both. I mean, it's continued growth and future growth right now. I think right now we do really well working with distributors, subcontractors. We are probably underrepresented, or have been in the past, within the Offsite segment, and that's part of Brent's role and mine, is to introduce them to. They may know a little bit about maybe just one aspect of our product, but they don't understand the full portfolio. So that's a critical piece that we're trying to introduce folks to. So that helps the engine go. The other piece is, we've got a couple of R&D projects that are really trying to address pain points in the Offsite segment. My ear's still red from talking to different folks, both builders, architects, folks from the plants, as to, these are the challenges we want you guys to try to figure out and partner with us. Two of those happen to be, one is Factory OS, where we have a joint development agreement, and the other one is Unity Homes up in Keene, New Hampshire. So again, trying to solve some challenges out there, and that should propel us going forward as too, Audrey.
I'd also like to commend you guys. The staff that I've worked at over the years, they're really good at educating. And when it comes to the vast amount of products that you guys offer, that's a lot to take on. And the fact that they're reachable and they deliver these solutions in a way that the uptake, right, for us in the marketplace is easier. I'm not quite sure how you take that on so well, but it's noticeable. And, we want to also take the time to acknowledge how smooth that process is.
Thank you.
Great.
So I love this idea of the pain points. And I think I particularly I think one of the things that are missing in the offsite construction world is, and we're hearing more about it, is testing and creating prototypes and listening to the client and the customer and figuring out how do we make things better. as a company that you guys have been around 300 years, which blows my mind away because we never hear about companies doing that. And then also hearing how cheerful you are about your position there and how happy and how you want to see things move. And obviously it's a culture thing, right? I mean, to have a company that long and to be able to integrate. My question is, when you talk to these offsite solutions, and I love Unity Homes, I know exactly who they are. I've actually talked to the CEO, gosh, like 5 years ago when I first started in these conversations. So I'm a big fan. When you talk to them and you spend time with your clients, what is your focus? Is it focused about how can we create a solution and then test the product, or how does your process happen with your clients? I'm just curious, just coming from an experienced company at your, at your level.
Well, that's a really good question, Audrey. And I mean, I think we're a bit unique in that we offer such a vast range of products. And so when we're talking to customers, we're not as linear. We're a little more broad because we'll take something like acoustics if that's an issue with a customer. Well, okay, we're not just supplying drywall. We've got insulation. We've got other materials that are part of the whole system. We have ceiling tiles. So we'll take a look at plans and not look at it through a lens of just one product. We'll look at the whole vision, take a holistic view and try to understand it. And this could apply not just to acoustics. It could be fire safety. It could be thermal performance. It could be moisture management, building envelope, etc. So there's a lot of ways that we can help customers out.
Yeah. If I can add on to one other thing on that, so it's two things. I lied. One of them is we've got a real strong building science team, and I had a recent meeting with a new modular factory, and our building science team reviewed, some of the plans, some of the specifications, made some great suggestions as to how they can do that. Again, we want to work with them, and that kind of helps flourish those types of relationships. But going back to your original question, Audrey, I think what I try to do is a couple things. I'm not an expert in offsite, and I start talking to folks and trying to understand their challenges. So we try to keep the ear to the ground, and we are very upfront. Where are these challenges? Because we know you want to save time and money, and how are those challenges connected to that, and how can we work together to figure that out? And it goes off left, right, and center sometimes, but it's some interesting conversations.
Yeah, and it's funny because in my experience, talking with a lot of CEOs of factories, one of the biggest pain points for them is drywall, and how can they create a efficient process for not only the application, but also how does it assemble quickly, and then how does it dry, and how does that move? It's always the drywall that takes the longest and the painting, right? So when you look at that and you talk to your clients, a lot of things that are really interesting that's happening in the marketplace is technology and how we're using 3D and we're using BIM modeling and we're using Revit. And so are you seeing a lot of your product being integrated in that architectural structure and then kind of moving that through the process and then trying to figure out these solutions? I'm just trying to pick your brain about how you go about this, because I think it's a huge area in most of the companies and CEOs that I've talked to. And I don't know, John, I think you could start, and then Brent, if you want to add on.
Yeah, so I mean, it's pretty much the way you laid it out. I sit about 2 seats from a gentleman who is leading our initiative with respect to drywall finishing and drywall. He has a small team. We're collaborating with the industry. It's iterative. It's definitely iterative. We're going to try this. We're going to work on that, see how that pans out, and move on to the next potential solution. And a lot of these folks, I mean, they are pretty bright folks, and sometimes I'm kind of like listening to some of the conversations, and it's a little bit over my head at times, but it's definitely our approach is to iterate and try to help develop those solutions.
Oh, you're absolutely right. I mean, I think the other good thing that we have is being such a large company, international. Maybe the person next to me may not have the answer, but there's someone else in another region or has worked elsewhere who's connected to someone in another region, and so that base of support is helpful. We have research facilities right across the globe, one not far from where John's located, Northborough, and those are always beneficial to help us adapt to any new technological request.
Fantastic. And, you know, the offsite, so the off-the-shelf solutions, Brent and John, what I like is, while yes, it's a solution-based thing for the facilities that are doing the installs, but also the end consumer, right? The people that are in the schools, the people that are in the houses, they get that benefit of, when we're talking acoustics, they get the benefit of a quieter space. When we're talking thermal properties and the integration of the building science, they get the benefit of not having that heat loss or that heat gain. And that's inherent from, as you said in the beginning, Brent, the total package solution of both the insulation inside of the cavities, and then the different wraps and sealants, right, and chipboards, that really, we see the final paint, but everything behind that creates that environment of pure comfort, so we can enjoy our spaces with our students, with our friends and our family. And we take so much of that for granted because we want to dive into those technical things, but really it's those end users that enjoy these spaces day in and day out. So thank you so much for the continued delivery of these products that make a difference in our community.
You bet, man.
Yeah, thank you.
So I'd love to just end on this. I'd love to know what you feel innovation means for you and this company, and how is this going to change and impact our world? Brent, I'll start with you, and then John, please, I'd love to get your viewpoint.
Well, innovation is all about, I'm going to say it's longevity. It's longevity for customers and for companies. But I think if you really want to look at it, it could be longevity globally too. If we embrace sustainability the way we're supposed to, I think it's going to help us as a planet. So I think you know, innovation is knowledge as well. It's the way to proceed. You can't be stagnant. Even though I'd say the construction industry is maybe one of the least innovative industries in the world, we're starting to see we're catching up, and a lot of changes are happening very quickly. So we have to get on the train right away.
Get on the train, yes. So I think let me throw a teaser out there and answer it this way, Audrey. You know, one of our joint development agreements, you go and do a few pilot homes, and the numbers look good, and the thermal performance and everything else. And what's the next question? Hey, let's go commercialize this. How are we going to do it? So as a tease, we are just in the process of launching a new product in the offsite space. I can't give you a whole lot of details right now, but they can always reach out to you to reach out to me. But it's something we're doing, you know, New England, mid-Atlantic states. I think it's something that's going to help address both affordability, thermal performance, and all those other aspects of what offsite can bring to the table. So, you know, again, it's not just doing the R&D project, it's actually commercializing it and getting it out there. And as both of you know, you get your fingernails dirty, you get your knees dirty. It's a little bit challenging, but you work through it.
Amazing. Well, I think that those are all things as a community we all want, we all enjoy, and we all deserve. So it's nice to see that your company is taking active steps to make that impact. Thank you so much, John. Thank you, Brent and Mark, for being here on Offsite Dirt. These are the messages that create innovation. These are the messages and the companies that make a difference. So thank you for being here today.